Welcome to the channel. My name is Ashley, and this is my sweet perspective. I am coming with a voiceover, and remember, y'all, spoiler filled, because why? Spoilers are what I do. Okay, baseball is underway, y'all. Norma's mad, honey, that she's growing old and she's got a lot to talk about, okay? The astronaut has left because we know that Maxine brutally rebuffed his advances, saying that she was going to stick behind Dougie. Girl, why? Okay, so Norma's sitting there, and again, she feels like she's an afterthought. She feels as though she's forgotten, and her nephew Dougie and his wife Maxine, they're not really here for her, and she wants her spot back. She did a lot of things to get the spot, we discover in this episode. Okay, and so Norma is like, you know what, I can talk now, I'm walking now, and I don't want them to get any of my money. So here's the thing, Robert. You marry me, and listen, I will leave everything to you when I leave this earth. Okay. And so Robert actually was pondering this, and I'm thinking, Robert, come on now. But Robert is also looking at Norma with a side eye throughout this time. Well, honey, Dougie and Evelyn is like, Dougie, what are you doing now? And Dougie's like, Evelyn, get on board or get left. We are the new face of Palm Beach, and you need to get on board with whatever you need to do. And I'm like, Dougie, sit down somewhere and or not just sit down somewhere, just go somewhere, Dougie. We do not like you, honey. And so, Maxine is in the throes of everything, and she's like, Mitzi, you're leaving too? And she's like, yeah, my cab's waiting. I gotta go, Maxine. I'm going through a lot. And Maxine is like, no, you're my friend and I need you right now. You're gonna stay. She says, who's gonna help me dismount the ball? And Mitzi says, well, I've trained the other girls. And she's like, no, Mitzi, I need you. Just stay for me, and get Rob. Since the astronaut is left, I'm gonna need him to put on that suit because President Nixon is coming to see and meet the astronaut. Literally, y'all, Mary is unhinged. Mary's on a warpath, and she is determined that she is going to unalive Tricky Dick. Okay. And so Linda is trying to speak to her and speak better of it and say, Mary, that's not what you want to do. Mary completely spazzes, locks Linda in the room, and she's like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. Either way, honey, knocks her out, locks her in the room. Okay, eventually Virginia comes and she finds her. And really, you guys, the dynamic of the relationship between Linda and Virginia is really interesting to me, right? Because we find out in this conversation that Linda has always kind of spilled out onto Virginia all of her issues, all of her concerns, all of her problems, while Virginia hasn't really released any information about her. Like, really, she doesn't even know how Virginia got out of police custody so quick. So that kind of sent me down a rabbit hole, and I'm like, who really is Virginia? Could Virginia be an operative? We know Virginia is an entrepreneur, as it's her bookshop, right? That everybody thought was Linda's. But the fact that she's tight-lipped, is it the dynamic because, they're two different races? Could that be a thing? Because I've seen that in real life. You know what I mean? Or is it just the disparity in the relationship? Is Linda just one of those people who is super needy, right? And Virginia is always the strong one. This is a deep topic that we can get into in another video. Drop it in the comments below if you want to have that conversation. But anyway, she's down there. She locks herself in there too because she lets the door close. And so now they're really stuck. Eddie and Evelyn, honey, are at the beach ball having a prime time. Mind you, Evelyn is thinking she's going to get half of the proceeds of the beach ball tonight. Okay. And so she's like, I'm good. I'm not so broke anymore. And so they are ripping it up, on the dance floor, and Dinah comes, honey, like, you have my man. And Evelyn is like, you raggedy hooker, like, your husband Perry wasn't in jail 2 minutes and you already have this new fiance and you're worried about Eddie. And basically Dinah says the same thing about her. You're a home wrecker. And it's like, sis, what home is there to wreck? All right. Dougie kind of finds Maxine and is like, Maxine, what's up with the house? You know, we saw the sugar people come, right? Pinky and his wife or whatever. And they're looking for the paperwork. They're looking for the deed to the house because remember, Dougie's plan and Pinky's plan apparently is to open up a new club out of Auntie Norma's house, which, you know, is a thing. Honey, why is Perry at the party? Perry is there while Dinah and Evelyn are fighting. And so Maxine is like, Dinah, Evelyn, take this out of here. Y'all are doing the most. Perry is out dancing weird. And of course, Dinah is like, Perry, why are you out? But he has the job, I guess, to cozy up to Tricky Dick because, you know, everybody knew he was corrupt. And that was his way out. And now that Dinah is, I guess, going to marry one of the biggest contributors to the Democratic Party, you know, this was a prime time situation. Honey, Maxine is begging Dougie for a dance, and he says he's going to get his pinkies cut off. If she doesn't sign over the deed, Pinky is going to take his pinkies. And she's like, all right. He goes into this whole spiel about how he's always felt like a failure, how everything they have now is because of Maxine. And it is. And you are, Dougie. Like, I'm proud that you have this awareness. But what I really need you to do is tell the truth and leave her alone. And Maxine, I need you to stand on big business, okay? And leave, because what is the freaking point? And so, honey, Norma sits down, and we know Mitzi is still there reluctantly. And Norma gets Mitzi to tell all the tea. Okay, breaks it down. Everything. She's pregnant by this man, and apparently she tells Norma who the man is, but I'm not going to reveal that just yet. It's coming in a big reveal later. Virginia and Linda are still locked up, and again, they are talking about their friendship dynamic. Dinah and Perry, he's wearing a wire, honey. And they're really doing this kind of Pulp Fiction dance, which I was like, y'all, if you don't sit down, like Perry, Dinah, ridiculous. And does Norma's retrospective, which was really kind of beautiful. You know, we go down memory lane with Norma, her rise to fame, honey, how she took over her dad's company and fired the entire board and acted as the president and CEO and tripled the growth of the company, and how she's just made a name and a way for herself in this world. Maxine gets to talk to Anne and is like, yeah, the doctor said I had too much insulin after drinking that grasshopper. So Maxine's wheels are turning as well. The other stipulation that Maxine gave Dougie was that, hey, let me talk to Norma first. You know, let me just let her know that we're selling the house because after all, this is where she's from. And Dougie, you're a sorry husband, but you are a more sorry family member. Like, really? You're just so gross. Maxine and Norma talk insulin, honey. Maxine is delivering the news and Norma is just biding her time. Okay. Norma is biding her time. She's not playing these types of game. Now Robert, who's been wearing the astronaut suit the entire evening, goes and cozies up next to Dinah's intended, who was apparently Norma's love when they were young teenagers. Okay. And so they're talking and Robert's like, I want to know what's up with Norma? What's up with her? And he goes into telling the story about how Norma left for boarding school, right? Shortly after they met, and had this roommate, Agnes, you know what I mean? But when Norma came back, she didn't want to see him and that she was a totally different person and that her roommate, Agnes, had passed away. Right? She was diabetic and had passed away. And he said a lot of, you know, young people passed back then from being diabetic if they didn't have money, right? Because they couldn't afford the insulin. And so Robert's wheels are turning. We know that the insulin was in Anne's drink. And so he's connecting the dots, okay? And he knows that Norma is Agnes. Norma unalived the real Norma to take her identity, honey. And my thing is, how long were you in daggum boarding school, right? Because how they not recognize that you were a whole different person? Now, I understand you stayed away from your intended, right? Your little boy toy, but your parents, it had to be some years, y'all. It had to be some years that she was away to make that legitimate. So Maxine is confronted finally by Mitzi, and Mitzi tells the truth. Norma encourages her, just tell the truth. And Maxine is like, if you're pregnant by Perry, you need to go confront him. He needs to know, and you need to make him marry you. Y'all have a baby together. Just go and confront him. Now it's time for the big number, honey. Okay. And so Norma descends on a big, huge beach ball and dismounts and starts singing a song. And as she looks out into the crowd, honey, why does she see Mitzi sitting right next to Dougie? Honey, Dougie is the baby daddy, and she finds it out at the most inopportune time. When I tell you it was tragic. And so she's having a meltdown, doing all the things on stage, telling everybody's business, saying Evelyn's broke, Diner's a hooker. I mean, she is letting it all hang out, okay? Spazzing. Baby, we discover Mary's been at the beach ball. Her purse was clean, honey. But why does she have a blicky in her hair bun? Linda gets out because Maxine and Eddie are back in the house getting bucky naked. They barter, and basically Evelyn is like, I want half of your inheritance, okay? And I'll let you out so that you can stop Mary from unaliving the president. Just Eddie's like, really, Evelyn? And she's like, yeah, we got to take our chances and use what we got to get what we want, okay? That's what she said. And so Linda makes a dash, right? Because she's got to stop Mary. So just as Mary is pulling out the blicky, Linda jumps in, dives over her, but the shot has been shot. Robert's trying to get Maxine out of the way. Why did Robert get shot in the back? The only good person in this series. The only one. If he is gone, count your days, Palm Royale. And Palm Royale, if we don't get a second season, count your days, because I'm gonna need a write-up. I'm gonna need a book. I'm gonna need the finality of all of this. I have to know. And so Mary hottails it out of there, honey. And so the detective who's on the DL, right, who's kissed Robert in this episode, comes and he arrests Linda like she's the one who did it. So how is she gonna get out of that? Who is Virginia really? And is Robert going to live? These are my 3 questions. Everyone else I don't really care about. I mean, I care about Maxine a little bit, but she's so devious. I just don't, What's going to happen, y'all? You guys, this was a wild ride. I feel like the show redeemed itself in this last episode because y'all know it was getting on my nerves. It really was. I feel like they just kind of mailed in the last couple episodes, but the finale, honey, it gave. You know what I mean? It gave excitement. It gave the drama. It gave everything that you thought it would, even a musical number. Okay. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. What did you think of this season? Was it a wild ride? And what did you think of the finale? I would love to talk about it with you guys in the comments. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.